Yes, I am Venerable Anil Sakya, originally from Nepal, from the Buddhist clan Sakya. I was ordained as a novice in Nepal, and from the Sangha of Nepal sent me over to Thailand to study Buddhism under the Supreme Patriarch of Thailand. And it was since 1975. When I was sent from Nepal to Thailand, it was, I might say that it was unusual because it was started only in 1973 when one of the senior monks who happened to be the later become Supreme Patriarch, he was sent by the Thai Sangha to help the Buddhists in what we call is Eastern Pakistan at the time, which is now called Bangladesh. And in Eastern Pakistan at the time, all around the Chittagong and all this in that area, there are Buddhists, the Buddhists, the indigenous Buddhists are there. And there was a flooding, I think. It was a very bad flood. So the Thai Sangha decided that they should send some help, some relief work there. So the Thai Sangha appointed the Venerable Somdet Pranyana Sangwan, who is who became a Supreme Patriarch, as their representative to go and help the Buddhists out there in Bangladesh nowadays. And on that occasion, he stopped by in Nepal. This is about 1970, something 1970s, 1971, 70, something like that. So he stopped by there. And then when he stopped by there, he looked at all the situation of Theravada Buddhism in Nepal was very weak. There's a prominent of a Mahayana, and mostly Newar Buddhism is very prominent, but the Theravada side is only about a few monks who was learned from the Sri Lanka was there. So he met them, and then he sort of shared his feeling that why this is a land of Buddha, this is where Buddha was born, but why situation in Buddhism is, in this situation. I don't see that it is flourishing here. What happened? Then he also said that Thailand is indebted to Nepal because Thailand is so prosperous, Thailand is so happy, Thailand is so peaceful because of the Buddha's teaching. Who is a Nepalese, who was born in Nepal. But look at your own country, why it is like that. So he offered that, is there anything that Thailand can pay as indebted to pay back that in debt. So the leader monk at the time, the Venerable Amritananda, who already passed away, then he said that you are so kind. So if you are so kindful, is so compassionate, would I request as two blessing, two boon from your holiness at the time? Then he said, go ahead. So he asked that, okay, can you send some of the Buddhist missionary, the Dhammadutta, to Nepal from Thailand so that we have some capable monk to spread the Theravada Buddhism? And he said that, okay, I can accept your proposal, but anyway, I have to submit that in the Supreme Sangha Council, and then we'll see that any monk will be willing to come or not, because the language is a problem, the food is a problem, the culture is a problem. So we don't, I don't give promise, but I will take your proposal to submit in the Supreme Sangha Council. And so then what is your second request? And he said, my second request is that I would like to ask your holiness to help us in training our kids, our novice and our monks. So if it is possible, we would send our novice to Thailand, and would you kindly train them to able to run, to operate, or to teach Buddhism back in Thailand? And he said that, okay, that is very easy because I am the abbot, so I can accept by myself that one. I don't have to submit to anybody. So if you have ready, so you can send me immediately now. So that was the promise had been in 1970s. And then the Sangha of Nepal tried to find the candidate. So they found one candidate, and then they ordained as a novice in Nepal. They sent here. So he was the first one to be here in this temple, where is Wat Bhawan in downtown Bangkok, which is a royal monastery. Has a long history from the King Rama IV. And when he was there, he became very erudite novice at the time. So he memorized all the Vinaya, everything was very good. So the abbot was saying that, why you are sending only one? We need more. We can train more of you. Then the Sangha in Nepal then tried to find the second batch. And then that is the time that I was asked by my teachers to my father, because I have 5 brothers in my back at home. And then my father is one of the leading activists at the time to revive Theravada in Nepal. So the Theravada monks, they say that you got 5 sons, so share us one, give us one. So that is how my father first thought that he was going to give his eldest son, but he's more smarter than me, because his board exam was school living exam was he got in the first in the country, and he was offered a scholarship, so he went to study in India. Then I'm the second one. My father looked at me and then asked me, am I interested? So I thought that, I have learned Buddhism at the time as a Sunday school. In Nepal, it's a Saturday school, so I know a lot of some good Buddhism at the time, good amount of Buddhism at the time. But when I was asked that, then I said that I'm not sure, but I just want to try then. Can I just try? My father then assured me that, why not? You can just try. Theravada Buddhism is not like others. You can try. If you don't like, you can leave anytime. There's no problem that you have to, once you ordain, you have to ordain for life. There's no such thing in Theravada Buddhism. It is more or less about the learning process. So you don't have to be serious about that. So you can just try. So then then if it is trying, so I will try. So I try. So in the sense that I was ordained as a novice in Nepal, they trained me for 9 months. Then they sent me to this very temple with the Supreme Patriarch. And then because of the good reputation from my first batch, I guess, so I was looked after by who became my preceptor later, by Supreme Patriarch very well, just like his own novice. So I have to sit with him all the time. I can't go away from his eyesight. So he looked after me so well. He taught me English, he taught me Thai language, he taught me everything, taught in a sense of a very kind of a disciple and teacher taught, master and teacher taught. It is not kind of some kind of format teaching. Format teaching, you have a school, you have a university. Yes, I do go that too as well. But most of my learning is from master to teaching, by observations, by his verbal teaching, by following his example, and so and so. Once I finished my bachelor in Buddhist University in Thailand, so I was served as an assistant secretary to the Supreme Patriarch of Thailand at the time. Then around 1993, my teacher, my master, the Supreme Patriarch, sent me over to study my postgraduate in England. So I did my MPhil in Cambridge and did my PhD in Brunel University, also from the London. So I was doing my the anthropology. I'm an anthropologist. So when I said that anthropology, it more or less embodied a lot of things. So to be the direct is what we call a social anthropologist, but it means that I have to do a lot of papers on economic anthropology, political anthropology, of course, religious, of course, the kinship, all sort of things. And back in Thailand, I also teach anthropology as one of my subjects in universities. So not only in Thailand, but also as a visiting professor, sometime in Santa Clara University in California, in the United States, or sometime in Oxford, and sometime in Burma. It depends on. But I become a professor in World Buddhist University. I do a lot of visiting professor in different leading university in Thailand. And lately, I'm retired from my normal kind of a professorship in the university. I'm still the Honorary Rector of the World Buddhist University, which was set by World Fellowship of Buddhists. You might know that the World Fellowship of Buddhists is one of the oldest Buddhist organizations in the world, which was founded in 1953, something around like that, in Sri Lanka. But after that, the headquarters has been changing from Sri Lanka to Burma and so and so. But later on, once the political stability in Sri Lanka and Burma was weakened, so they decided that they will have a permanent headquarters in Thailand. So it is an international organization set by, at the beginning it was set by 27 countries in the beginning in 1953. Even the word Theravada was actually first used and officially announced that we will use as a Theravada was that the first declaration of that conference in Sri Lanka in 1953. So it was in about 13 years ago, the committee at the time, they decided that they would have the academic wing under the WFB, and they call it World Buddhist University. And their idea was that to work similar to what we call is United Nations University, which will serve the United Nations. So WBU is the main purpose is to serve WFB, which means that to serve the all Buddhist association which is scattered around the world. I'm still giving lectures in different universities, different government organizations, different high institutes, like Judicial Training Institute for the judges, all the different top the government institute. I am quite involved in those teaching, as well as also I teach inmates in prison, which is all over the country. So that is how I am ending in Thailand. But apart from that, I'm still given the trust from the Thai Sangha to be a governor of the north region of Thailand, so which means that I have to look after 8 different provinces of North Thailand, all the monks, all the temples, all the activities there. So that's how my life of learning Buddhism has been started from that time, from the word, from the idea of trying, and then I have been trying this for now nearly 50 years.